Good afternoon, Flip Math students. Today we are moving on to lesson 15.1, which is surface area. And we're going to be using nets, and I'll explain what that is. But I wanted to show you a picture of what your page will eventually look like. We are cramming a ton of work onto this page. So write small and divide your paper into 5 sections. You might want to wait to till after you write the definitions to divide the remainder into 4 squares, which is what I did. So that might help you. So go to your table of contents, write lesson 15.1 surface area, and put the appropriate page number, and then come on back to the next page. All right, so this page is just definitions, and so I just want you to copy them down so you know. Okay, so surface area is basically the outsides of whatever form you're measuring. So like a cereal box, the outsides are what you would see in the grocery store. The inside is the brown color that you don't really see. So that the outside, that the colored part, that is what we would call the surface area, the surface of it. Okay, a pyramid is a 3-dimensional figure whose base is a polygon and whose other faces are triangles that meet at a point. Okay, so that's the official definition. Because we're in 6th grade, we all know what pyramids look like. And okay, and then our last definition is a prism. And a prism is a 3D figure with 2 identical parallel bases that are polygons. Okay, so a prism is like a Kleenex box. That's a prism. That would be a rectangular prism because the base is a rectangle. Now a triangular prism, the bases would be triangles. Okay, so we have some of those examples and we will show you those in class. But a triangular prism would be like, I can't think of anything other than like, oh gosh, I can't think of what it's called. But like a desk nameplate, sometimes those are triangular prisms. So they sit on a desk and they kind of angle so you can read the name. And it's a triangular prism. Okay, so those are defined by their bases. So it could be a triangular prism with a triangle base, or rectangular prism like a Kleenex box with a rectangular base. Okay, so copy those all down and then we'll move on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to figure out the surface area of this square pyramid, and we're going to use a net to find the surface area. So a net is basically when you just take that pyramid apart. You like pretend like we use an X-Acto knife or some scissors and we cut it all apart and we lay it flat. Okay, so it's going to look like this. We're going to draw it together. So we're going to start with the base, which is a square. So we're going to, whoops. Let me get my marker out here. Okay, so we're going to start with the square. And then we're going to make 4 triangles. Remember the pyramid comes up to the top and it has 4 sides. So here's a triangle. Here's a triangle, here's a triangle, here's a triangle. Okay, now we're just going to copy the numbers that were already up here. I'm going to copy them onto this, we call it a net. Okay, so here's the height, and we'll just put a little right angle there. And this is 17 inches. And then this side right here and all the sides of the square are 16 inches. And let me just label one more. They have it labeled like this too. 16 inches. Okay? Because it's a square, remember, all 4 of those sides are 16 inches. Okay, so now that we've made the net, we're going to use our area formulas. You know how I love my formulas. So we're going to use the area formulas, and we are going to start with the area of the triangles. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles, so it's going to be 4, whoops, let me change to black, that's much easier to read. Okay, so we have 4 times, and then we'll just do 1/2 base times height, which is the formula. So then let me fill it in. I've got to write a little smaller. I'm never going to get through all this. Okay. So we'll do 4 times 1/2 times 17 times 16. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and take half of 4, which is 2. So it'll be 2 times 17 times 16. And when we multiply all those out, we are going to get 544. 544 inches squared. Okay, so that's the surface area of all 4 triangles. Now we just have to do the base. So the base is easy because base is base times height. Okay, and some people call it length times width, but either way is fine. And then we're going to do 16 times 16, which equals 256 inches squared. And then we are going, so that's the base, and then we're going to add these two together because we need to get the entire outside. So we're going to go 544 plus 256. When we add that together, we will get 800 inches squared. Okay, and that's how you find the surface area for a square pyramid. Okay, now we're going to try another one together. Okay, so now we have another square pyramid, and we need to make a net first. So let's start with, wait, is this a square pyramid? Yes, it is. Yeah, square pyramid. Okay, sorry. I was looking at my notes. Okay, so we're going to make this square, which that's sort of kind of a rectangle, but we're going to pretend it's not. Okay? And we're going to make 4 triangles because it's like we just opened it up. Oops. I can't let that go. Okay. Now we have 4 triangles. Okay. We're going to draw a line down here and make a right angle. Okay. Now we have, let's label our sizes. Okay, so the height is 20 inches, so we're going to label that 20 inches. And the sides of the base are all 16, so we'll just do 16 inches. Okay, so now we're going to do just like we did before. We're going to find the surface area of the 4 triangles, so we're going to multiply 4 times 1/2 times base times height. So we'll do 4 times 1/2 times 16 times 20. Okay, and you can take half of whichever one of these because they're all even. So I'm going to take half of the 4. Well, let's just multiply it all out. 4 times 1/2 times 16 times 20. And we're going to get a big whopping 640 when we multiply all those out and then divide by 2. We have 640 inches squared. All right, now the base is just base times height, which will be 16 by 16. It's not a very good looking 16, but try one more time. There we go. Okay, so 16 times 16 is 256 inches squared. And so we're going to add those together. We get 640 plus 256 to get the entire surface area, and we get 896 inches squared. Okay. All right, we're going to move on to, what's our next thing? Oh, we're going to do a rectangular prism. Okay. Okay, so this is a rectangular prism net. Now, just pretend that this is like, it's roughly the size of like a filing cabinet. And I want to cover my filing cabinet in contact paper. Okay, so I don't need to cover the bottom because no one's going to see that, but I want to cover all the sides and the top. Okay, so that's why it looks like it does. So first, so what we have to do is we just have to do each of the sides and the top and then add them together just like we did on the triangle. So the top, if you can see that, it's really small for me, but you guys are on a computer, so it's probably easier. So the top is 3 by 3, so that's base times height is 3 times 3, which equals 9, and that's 9 feet squared. Okay. And then the faces, we're going to call the sides faces. Okay. There's 4 faces, and they are all 4 by 3. So we can just do 4, because there's 4 of them, 4 times base times height. Okay, so 4 times 4 times 3, which gives us 48 feet. 1 second. Yeah, 48 feet. Squared, because this one's feet and this one's feet, so there's only 2 feet. Okay, so 48 feet squared, and then we are going to add these together for the surface area. So surface area equals 48 plus 9 is 57 feet squared. Now let's say my contact paper was 22 cents a square foot. How much would it cost me? Well, then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do 57 square feet times 0.22. And when I multiply all that out, I get $12.54, which is what it would cost me to cover my filing cabinet. That and a lot of hours and cutting, and I don't think I would want to do that. But anyways, okay, so $12.54 is the answer of how much it would cost. All right, let's move on. We have one more slide. This is like a Kleenex box, so picture in your mind a Kleenex box when we move on. All right, so here's a Kleenex box, very sadly drawn, but it's a Kleenex box. And so we need to make a net so we can organize our thoughts a little better. If you don't need a net, then you don't have to make a net. Okay, so I'm going to make a net, and I'm going to pretend that I'm opening up the Kleenex box, and here's the bottom, here's the side, here's the other side. Sorry, it's not going to be to scale. And then here's the top. We can't forget about the top, because remember when we fold it over. Okay, and then attached to the bottom are the 2 little sides. Oops, that's too little, but help, what happened? There we go. It's not letting me erase, so I don't know what's going on. Okay, well, we're just going to have to pretend. Okay? So, so the long side is 5 feet, right? And then up here it says the short side right here is 3 feet. So we're going to put an arrow, and we're going to put 3 feet. And then the height of it is 2 feet. So we'll put 2 feet. Okay. So this is also 2 feet. This is 3 feet. Okay. This this is that goes back to the top, and it's 5 feet. All of these pieces are all 5 feet, right? Okay. So now that we have everything mapped out, we're going to do just the top and the bottom. Okay, so the top and the bottom, and that's so they're exactly the same. So we're going to do 2 times base times height, which is 5 times 3. I'm running out of room, so I'm not going to write the formula. I know, against my own rules, but it is what it is. So 2 times 5 times 3 is 30. Okay, we'll keep that number there. The front and back. Okay, so here's the front. Well, let me circle it in blue. Here's the front, and here's the back. Okay, so the front and back, there's 2 of them, so we're going to go 2 times 5 times 2, which equals 20, all you math geniuses. Okay, now we have the sides, and there are 2 sides. Here are the sides. 1, 2. So we're going to do the sides, which will be 2, because there's 2 of them, times 2 times 3, which is 12. So when we add 30 plus 20 plus 12, we get a grand total of 62 feet squared. Okay? Now, if I wanted to wrap up that Kleenex box and put a gift inside, and I want to put some wrapping paper on it, and wrapping paper is 18 cents per square foot, I'm going to take my 62 and I'm going to multiply it by 0.18. And when I multiply that all out, I get $11.16. And that's how much my wrapping paper that I will use, $11.16 worth. Okay? All right, we will go over some more in class tomorrow, but that's basically it. The hardest part is making sure you catch and measure and calculate each side. So if there's 6 sides, you better make sure that you have 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here to make sure that you've caught everything. Okay? Alrighty, we will see you tomorrow. Bye.